Hi, this is John with The Evolving World. Today I'm doing a quick video on upgrading a horn from a standard car horn to something a little bit more spicy and nicer. This is an air horn. This is the 2 trumpet model. It's by Hella, and it's the model number right here. And so I'm doing this on my car for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's an FCA product car with an FCA horn, and so what happens is when you push the button to alarm the car and lock the car remotely, it automatically beeps the horn, and there's absolutely no way to turn it off. It's extremely annoying. So that's reason number 1. Also, reason number 2 is that air horns are really cool. I've always liked the way they sound. They sound very Italian, and this is in fact an Italian car, so I think it's going to fit this car perfectly. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. So when you walk away from the car and you push the lock button, it does that. So the lights flash, which is excellent, but it also honks, and that's extremely annoying when you're in a high traffic area. I mean, I always find it annoying when other people do this, you know, and I always like, why are you honking at me? It's like, you know, and it's like you just be walking past the car and all of a sudden it'll beep, and it's like, it's just extremely annoying. And I know that the European models don't have the same horn. This is a Americanized model, so I think because of that they put just your standard Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep horn on it, which it sounds just like any other FCA product really. Okay, first we're going to do a little test here and show how many decibels this thing's putting out when we we're going to do a chirp, we're going to do the alarm activation, and then we're going to do just a standard honk and see how many decibels it puts out and compare that to the new one. So let's do this here. Max hold. Okay, so that's 84.5. Let's see what this one is. Oh, 108.2. Okay, that's pretty loud. So getting to the horn's pretty easy. All you need is like a little screwdriver like this, little angle one. Just take off a little access panel, 4 screws. And here it is, right on the left front of the car. Kind of see it right there. Looks to be like it's only a single horn. It's not a double. Here's the comparison of the old compared to the new. So the old one, it's actually just one single horn. It's actually pretty loud for its size and everything. I'm pretty impressed with that actually. And so this weighs about what was it, 9 ounces? And this guy right here is 1 pound 8 ounces. So we're going to be adding 15 ounces. Okay, so getting the old horn out is pretty easy. Just use a 10mm wrench is all you really need to do. You can kind of reach up in there and grab it, kind of see where the bracket is right there, where the mounting bracket is. That's pretty easy to do. Now, what I've done, it looks like we're going to need the relay after all, because what I've done is I've tried to test it already. And when I use jumper cables to try to power this horn, the new one, it just basically, it fizzles. It kind of just makes a little bit of a noise and that's it, and it doesn't really actually power it. So what I ended up doing is I got some other thicker wire, and I tested it right on the battery directly. And actually I used the jumpers first, and that did the same thing. It just fizzled. It just kind of makes a slight whirling noise. It doesn't actually power the horn at all. It just kind of turns the compressor, just runs at a very low speed, and then the wire started to smoke, and it was like, okay, well, these things, this is the problem right here, too thin of a wire. So once I bumped it up to some 12 AUG wire and connected it up directly to the battery, it's like bam, it's like it pops really loud now. Okay, so you're going to need, in addition to some wire here, you're going to need some thick wire. You're going to need some thinner wire. I'm using some 18 gauge here. This is 12 gauge for our direct power. So we'll go to the battery, over to the relay, out of the relay, down to the compressor, and then this would be the negative coming out of the compressor back to the chassis for grounding. And then these two will just simply tap into our existing wires that will run back to the relay as a switch. So yeah, you're going to need a few things. It's not going to be that simple. You're going to need to get at least these items here to make it work. So this car has proven to be quite a challenge here to get this to work the way I want it to work. So I found out that this is the horn sensor, the horn relay right here. When the alarm goes off, it ticks away, and when I push the button, it ticks, or well, it comes on. Kind of thought that this one was initially, but since it looks more like one, but it was not, so this is actually just something totally separate. So if I pull that out, of course, you know, nothing works as far as the horn or the alarm horn. And I guess theoretically all one has to do is, if you could trace back, if you could find the alarm module, if there is one, or if it's not integrated in with the ECU, you could just trace those wires back to the relay here, because it has to be coming in. But the problem is that if you're going to do that, even if you could, this requires, this thing is etched in here really good. I mean, it's entrenched in there really, really well. You got these big massive cables, the bottom down here. Got a big bundle down there coming in, and then you have this big bundle up here coming up. That's like, you know, to tear all that apart just to do this, I mean, it's just fucking psychotic. I mean, it's like you can't do this. It's just not going to work. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put this all back together. We're going to bypass the wiring down at the original horn location. Because the only thing I can get, if I connect to that, whether I run it through a second relay or not, it doesn't make any difference. The horn will work, but as soon as I activate the remote lock, in other words, activate the alarm, it shuts the whole system, it crashes the whole system, it overloads the system, crashes it. And the only way to fix it is to come over here and disconnect your negative and pull that off and then put it back on, and then that reboots the system, and then it's all fine, everything's good. But I can't have that happen. Okay, so 3 years later, finally got this thing sorted out, and it works lovely. So that's what it is right there. I put the compressor right where the original horn was located. I used the same bracket. I just used tie wraps for everything. Kind of tied it down pretty nicely, and then I kind of just put the trumpets kind of up there, as you can kind of see. They're all suspended off it with tie wraps and everything. So this thing's pretty loud. And over here, what I did is I tried as hard as I could to get this to integrate in with the current system, and I just couldn't get it to work. There's just too much going on. The horn fuse or horn relays down here. I tried messing with it. I tried bypassing. I mean, ideally, if you could find an exact wire that goes from the alarm to the horn and snip that wire, it would be beautiful. But there's absolutely no way to hunt and search that down. I mean, and even if I could find it, it would be somewhere in here. And it's like you'd have to take all that crap apart to try to find it. So the best solution after spending several hours playing around with it is just to bypass the whole freaking thing. So that's what we ended up doing. We taped off the original horn connections down there, and then we just kind of ran our own system, basically per the instructions that come with the horn. So this is our relay location right here, and so yeah, basically per instructions, and then you have to run a wire back to the inside of the car. And so what I did is I ended up putting a toggle switch here, because once again I couldn't get it to integrate in with the switch here. There's like about 25 wires down underneath here, and I don't know which one goes to that particular thing. That may be a future upgrade, because it would be kind of nice to put it into the thing, but you know, this horn button doesn't work all that well anyway. Like, I mean, even before, like, I would find that certain places the pressure is different than if you press, you know, different places of the actual button here is different, like how it reacts. If you push hard right here, it won't do anything. If you push hard here, it does, and then here is somewhere. So everything's different. So what I did is I put a toggle switch here. So this is my horn right here. So all we have to do is push down on that, and it's actually very easy to modulate. So you can do a quick, you know, beep, beep, beep kind of thing, or just a beep. You know, you can really control it. Excellent way of controlling it. So the one disadvantage to this mod is that there's no alarm horn. So I wasn't able to get that to work, unfortunately. But that's the only thing that I miss. And frankly, I don't use the alarm very much. My car's not broken into on a daily basis, but I do like to, you know, use the remote on a daily basis. So what's by far more important is to be able to lock the car without this stupid hog horn. I mean, that thing is driving me friggin' crazy. It's the stupidest thing ever. So at least we fixed that. So anyway, that's one of the things we were trying to fix here of the 2 items. So this is what happens when you lock the car. So that's what happens, just like you normally do. So nobody knows that the horn is working or not. And then of course what we'll try to do is we'll simulate smashing a window, breaking in. So what happens is this happens. So basically the immobilizer works, and then what happens is the car will flash just as it would, you know, with the horn, except there's just no horn. So that still gets attention. So if somebody did break a window, it would make the flashing sound, you know, flashing noise. And then of course what happens, this thing will stop at some point, and then it will pick up again. I'll just leave it on here just to show you what, there you go. So that's what's happening, not doing anything, and then see it starts doing it again for a while. I don't know how many cycles it does that through, but so anyway, that's what happens. And then of course you just push the button there, and then it does its 2 blink. So yeah, so if you want to do the open just like you normally would, it's just operate. Everything operates the same. It's just that if the alarm horn was ever to go, if the alarm was ever to go off, it would just not beep. So that's that. So we did fix that. And then of course the horn though is also super cool sounding. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, let's try this thing out. Now that's Italian. I love that horn sound. Let's see what we got. Holy crap, look at that. 119.9, it's 120 decibels? I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a perfect solution. I like the fact that it is a toggle switch and not the horn buttons. I don't think I'm even going to bother to put it over here, because I just don't think it's going to matter that much. So I think that's going to do it. Thank God it took me like a day and a half to do this. Crazy. So anyway, if you found this video useful, please like and subscribe. And yeah, many more videos to come.